Welcome back to another episode of the Be Who You Came to Be podcast. I'm your host, Tara Renze, and I have a very special guest on today because this is truly like one of those full circle life moments because I'm sitting down with someone that we just didn't grow up together. We literally grew up side by side from the minute we were born because our moms were besties. Today on the show, I have Kasey Frost. I got to throw in that maiden name. If you're from a small town, you got to do it. And we grew up in this ultra tiny little town called Courtland, Kansas, population about 300 on a good day. And today we're going to be talking about all the values that were instilled in us, what it was like growing up in a small town. And, I get questions all the time when I travel, when I talk to people. It is literally mind-blowing to them that I'm from this small town of 300. I mean, I get asked questions like, did you have running water? Kasey, did you have running water? Welcome to the show.
Yes, we did have running water. We did. And it was actually heated, hot water if you wanted it.
Well, you lived a mile out of town, okay? And isn't it funny that so there was the town, which was like 5 blocks by 5 blocks. And then Kasey lived a mile north of town. And did you have a well or were you on the city water?
You know what? I don't have a clue. I don't even remember.
You don't?
No,
I bet you were on the city water because you had the vet clinic there.
I bet we were. I don't ever remember like having to treat a well or, like stay away from the well cover. I don't remember any of that. So I'm assuming it was city.
Yeah, remember when we were little, when that girl, little baby Jessica, fell down into the well?
I do.
Do you remember that? That was like national news.
Yeah,
that was so scary.
Yeah, we didn't ever have to have a conversation about staying away from the well, so I don't think we did. We had a lot of conversations about things to stay away from when you're on the farm, but that wasn't one of them.
Yes. So our moms and dads, both of our moms and dads, they were best friends growing up. Kasey, you're the oldest, and then it goes Travis, my oldest brother.
Yep.
And then we have Kelly and Tanner.
Yep.
And then little old me.
You came along. You were the baby. You added to our Star Wars clan. It was perfect.
I always had to be a fucking stormtrooper. No one ever. You guys always stole Princess Leia, and I was always a stormtrooper.
Yeah, I was always Tara's mom. For those of you that don't know, was a preschool teacher, and her school was actually in the basement of their house, which was awesome for us. So when our parents would get together, they would stay upstairs, play cards, and do parent things, and then all of us kids would go downstairs. And we got to play dress up and do all the things, and we were, of course, Star Wars kids. And I was always Princess Leia. Travis was always Luke Skywalker. And then it just kind of varied after that, what role we wanted to put Kelly, Travis.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you and Travis were the boss. So we just did whatever you said.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Now, did you so my mom did have a preschool. So a little background. My mom and my dad grew up in this small town community called Courtland, Kansas. My mom actually was from Western Kansas. She was from Hayes. They met in college, got married, moved home because my family has a bank that's been a small town community bank that's been operating for like 117 years. Mm-hmm. So my dad worked at the bank, but my mom is an early childhood educator, and she had a preschool literally in our basement, the gingerbread preschool, forever. You went to gingerbread preschool?
I did go to gingerbread.
You and Kelly?
I think Kelly did too. One of my fondest memories of growing up and being in Mrs. Johnson's preschool was the play that we put on every year. It was in the backyard, and we all had our parts, and I don't even remember what the play was. I'm sure your mom would, but in the end, I had to kiss Scott Berry.
They made you kiss?
I had to kiss Scott Berry.
For shame. That would never happen today. Scott Berry. I don't even know who Scott Berry is.
Oh, you would if you saw him. You would.
Oh, okay.
This cute little dark-haired boy, but I remember how mortified we all were. And I didn't want to do it, and he didn't want to do it. And it was just this whole thing. But it was the sweetest play ever. I don't know.
Oh yeah, she did a play every year. We'll talk about that in a second. Well, actually, I just got to tell you this funny story about the plays, because then we're going to talk about where you grew up, which was much cooler. I mean, I felt like you were on the true farm. So my mom and I, we still laugh about the gingerbread plays. So we did Pitter Pan instead of Peter Pan, and we filmed it out at the Herdicks farm because they had like the tree houses and all the different things and the rope swings and all that kind of stuff. But years later than that, Angel Saunders, who did you have Mrs. Saunders
Yes.
for elementary school? So her daughter Angel, they did like it was supposed to be like a TV station, and so Angel was doing the weather, and she's like making up what all the weather is, and then at the end she's like, "And watch out for that bouncing thing outside." And to this day, my mom still says on calls, "And watch out for that bouncing thing out there." She's like. We still say it. Tanner says it. Travis says it. We all like, and all right, well, listen, hope the tornado doesn't hit you and watch out for that bouncing
Watch
thing.
out for that bouncing thing. We might have some in Kansas tonight, so watch out for those bouncing things.
Exactly. Okay, so Kasey lived on a true farm, like a farm. Like when I say farm, like we tell them all about Uncle Lanny because we did call him Uncle Lanny. And I remember your mom, she was raising Shih Tzu puppies.
Mhm.
Like
Yes.
we can't make this shit up.
No.
Your mom was raising puppies.
Uh-huh. And kitties. She actually raised cats for a while too, but she had all kinds of puppies and dogs everywhere out behind the vet clinic. So
Oh my
we
gosh.
were a mile from Courtland on the main highway. And I guess I never felt like I was in the country because we were always so close to town, right? But yes, we were in the country on a lot of acres. Dad had the vet clinic. Mom raised the dogs and the cats behind the clinic. We had a huge pasture, so we always had cows that we had to check. And even beyond that, we had what we called the pig lot, and so we always had pigs that we had to go take care of. And then of course, just farmland that we had to set center pivot or not center pivots, but irrigation pipes on, and pull weeds and do all that. So we were involved in a lot of different things on a farm. And then of course we always had horses and rode those and took care of those. So
Yeah, because your dad was the large animal vet.
right.
Yeah.
He could take care of small animals, but his love and his passion was the large animals. So
Yes.
we and I say we because growing up I went on almost every call that he ever went on with him, even if it was a 2 a.m. Call that somebody needed help. I absolutely loved it. But yeah, we took care of cattle and he did pigs too, but really just cattle and horses.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I know Uncle Lanny used to call the smaller ones. Oh, they're cute little critters.
They are. They are. One of the first quote unquote critters that he actually operated on was straight out of vet college, and they took the stinkers out of skunks.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, they did.
And then the skunks would just hang around the farms?
That was actually my mom and dad's first pet was a skunk, and he was leash broke, and they let him around Courtland.
Oh my gosh. What was his name? How do I not know this story?
I don't know. Well, it didn't end well for the skunk. That's probably why.
Oh, did someone shoot it?
No, a skunk's stomach. Okay, going back to you can't make this stuff up. Like this is crazy. A skunk's stomach is different than obviously people's. They can't belch. They can't like get rid of gas. And they were coming home from my grandma Olive's house one weekend, and there was a pie in the back seat, and the skunk ate the pie unbeknownst to them. And when they got home, they just tied him under the tree because they lived in town for a while. I actually lived in town for just a little bit till we moved out to the farm. But mom tied him under the tree, and that was his final resting place.
I mean, a small town pie isn't a terrible way to go out.
No, it's
If
not.
you've ever had any of those pies up in
It was
Courtland.
wonderful. And my grandma Olive was the kolache queen of Cuba. So she could bake.
Okay, so I remember staying out at the farm and like getting a wake up call, and your dad was like, "Come on out, time to go. We're gonna go pull a calf,"
Yes.
which meant literally he was gonna stick his hand up the freaking cow and pull the calf out. I was like, "Oh my God, I cannot believe I'm witnessing this." And you guys, it was just like common knowledge.
Yeah. There was tools, I guess, if you want to call them, apparatuses that you could use that kind of went across the back of the heifer, and then you could put like a crank to it to kind of help put the chain around the calf and kind of help pull the calf out. But it usually took more than one person to get it done. So whoever the farmer was that, had the cow there, they were always helping. But I was helping from the get-go. I would hold the crank to the side, and you kind of have to move it back and forth, to try to kind of get the calf in different positions. And when those calves would come out, it was like the coolest thing ever. It was dirty
I
and it smelled
know.
and there was yuck everywhere, but we were cleaning out their nostrils and I always had the clean towel to help him get to breathing and it was just normal for me to be involved with that and do that. So,
Yeah. Did you guys have dairy cattle or were they
no,
beef?
nope, just beef cattle.
Just
Yep.
beef cattle. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he took care of some dairy cattle, um, but it was mostly we just had beef cattle. I also have really fun memories of the Bergstroms who lived down the highway. They raised sheep, lambs, right?
Uh-huh.
And when it was the time where they were having all their babies, they would have orphans. Maybe the mom had two and only took one, and so then Mr. Bergstrom would have all these orphans, and he had so many he didn't have time to take care of them, and so I would always get to be the orphan mama.
And
So
bottle feed them?
yes, and so
Oh.
I'd set my alarm every 3 hours, the little tiny analog clock alarms, and wake up and go outside and feed them all throughout the night. But that was probably one of my most favorite things was
Oh my gosh.
getting to take care
Well,
of.
and you know what? It taught you so much as a kid about, I mean, I think there's no harder working kids and just like experiencing that than small town. Like, I don't think anyone ever truly retires.
Right.
It's all about hard work. Everyone's somehow interconnected with each other. I mean, yes, my family ran the bank, but the bank was where everyone went for their ag lending, for their businesses. And so I remember going out, like doing like, well, not a crop tour like what we used to do in high school, which a crop tour now means like, let's go out and have some drinks and drive around in the
Yes.
country. But
Yes.
that's illegal for all the listeners, just so you know, that is 100% illegal. Um, but that's what a crop tour is. But we'd have to go like survey crops and like
Mhm.
I just ride around in my dad's truck
Yep.
and he would,
Yep.
go look at everyone's crops. Okay, before we get into some of the lessons that we've learned, I got to tell two more stories. One, I remember roller skating in your basement
Yes.
nonstop. Like you had the unfinished, but it was cement and it was huge. We made a whole roller skating track in there.
Yep.
And then one of the things that we're going to talk about is just some of the stuff that we did in the 80s to entertain ourselves. And we did a ton of performances, plays, like the roller skating, the plays. And I remember you and Berdina putting on a show in the vet clinic one night for all of us. Do you remember this?
Oh, I think I do. I think I know where we did a lot of things, performances and put on things. And the clinic was a lot of where they were showcased. So I think I remember.
We'd go out to the clinic. You actually had a whole song. If Tanner was here right now, he would sing it, but it was called You're a Nag.
Oh, I remember it too, but you're not going to get this voice on the podcast.
You basically said that we were all that we were nagging you all the time. You're a nag, nag, nag. So go to the butcher shop and buy me a rose, which I don't know is this an actual song?
I think it might have been based on a Joan Jett song. We'll have to do some looking back to see. But I think
You guys just thought that we were the little kids that were constantly in there nagging you and giving you. So you guys came up with a whole song about
yeah,
us. And it was like it was like a burn. It was hilarious though. We
yeah.
loved it.
We were doing roasts before roasts were cool. We didn't even know it.
I know, totally. So funny, so funny. Okay. So let's do it. Let's go through. I've made some fun, like little prompts, we're going to go through just some small town things that I was thinking about that I just think are so curious. And if you're listening and you're from a small town, shoot us a DM, leave some notes on the show, send me a message, or if any of this even relates to you, like growing up in the city. But, one of the things like the unspoken rules, right? The stuff that no one said out loud, but everyone knew, like, we call it the country wave, which you don't have to take your hand off the steering wheel, but you just put two fingers up and wave. That was one of my favorites. Everyone waves at each other.
And my dad did this swirl.
Oh,
Two
he
hands,
did.
and then he'd right in.
Oh, that was his signature wave. If you have to go to YouTube to watch this because that's a pretty cool. I wonder, does Brock do that?
I don't know. I don't know. But that was the thing. He would keep his hand on this wheel and it would slide
Just give it
forward
a
and back.
swirl. My dad just gave us a straight up and down.
Just
Straight up. Yeah. Yeah. So the wave was big. By the way, Brock is Kasey's little brother and he runs the family, the Haniel clinic.
Yep.
And you know what? My brother is back running the bank. I think it's cool how many generational people have gone back. And the town is still so thriving.
Oh, it is thriving beyond what anybody I think could ever have believed. With a lot of the I would say the generation of Tanner and Brock's have went back, and my gosh, they've got irrigation ales, they've got bed and breakfasts, they've got
I
a
know.
lot
It's
going
so
on.
cool. It's so cool. It's so fun to go home for sure.
Yeah.
What's it? Do you remember any unspoken rules or like things that you just knew growing up in a small town?
Well, the first one is never leave a gate open. Like that,
My
never.
damn, we have had to teach our the mowers and like the landscaping people. They leave the gates open and the dogs get loose. I'm like, who are these people? No, you don't ever leave a gate open.
No, never. And even if to this day, if I'm somewhere and I didn't open a gate, but I see it open, and it might be a pen at a rodeo, that it doesn't even have animals in it, but I
Hmm.
go and shut it. Just you do not leave a gate open. And I think the other one that, and I know you were brought up this way too, is you leave something better than you found it.
Yes.
If you're going to
Yes.
use it, you leave it better than you found it.
Yeah. You pick up after yourself. You leave it better than you found it because, I mean, everybody does know everybody's business.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
know.
absolutely. My mom was a hairdresser too. And, her beauty shop was in the basement of our house. So between the clinic, the office in the clinic, and,
Hmm.
people in the basement of our house that came to get their hair done, we were around a lot of people growing up. So everybody knew everybody's business.
Yeah.
Even that.
Yeah. And so you did. You took care of things. You made sure that if you borrowed something, and people borrowed, I mean, like it literally was like go to the neighbor's house and get a cup of sugar.
Yes.
We actually did that because you know, there wasn't a grocery store always handily available. That
Right.
Gondorf grocery was only open a few it was usually open at least 5 hours a day, I
Yeah,
bet.
I remember it. I think maybe every day at least, but it wasn't like we have now. 10 o'clock at night. If you didn't,
Right.
you didn't have it.
Right, right, right. Um, I think that one thing that people do wonder is like, how is it growing up in a small town when everybody knows your business? I mean, both of us, our parents were divorced, which was a big deal growing up. And I remember that being like probably the hardest thing that I navigated in my youth was like just the small town drama of everybody knowing each other's business. But I think it was also like no one was ever mean about it. It was just so heartbreaking, I think, for the town when two people like our parents, divorced.
Oh, absolutely. Well, because like you said, everybody, even though you're not family, you are family.
Hmm.
You know, and I think that's probably a value that was instilled in us, from birth. Is you're the same way. If somebody needs something and I can help them in any way, I do. I don't think
Right.
twice about it. And I attribute that to the way we were raised, because everybody, just feels like you're part of a family. We were all
Hmm.
a part of the Courtland family. And so I think it, like you said, a divorce or anytime somebody moves, you feel a sense of loss almost,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you have to navigate through that.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it is so interesting how the small towns, especially our dads, like they were like legends. They were Courtland legends. And we have so many great pictures of them,
Yes.
when they were in their younger years. And I know Tanner and I joked when dad died, we were like, I think the temperature in Courtland went up like 10 degrees because everybody in town turned their oven on, and it was same for Uncle Lanny. Like the turnout for the small town funeral, they just made such an impact. And I think that that's something I'm really proud of.
Oh, absolutely. Because they were the epitome of everything small town,
Hmm.
like we're talking about. I mean, that's who taught us. So rightly so.
Yeah. 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 Now, interestingly enough, Kasey married a guy from Courtland, even. Like, who knew? You know what's really interesting? There are a lot of people from Republic County, which is where we're from, that ended up getting married.
Yep.
But
Yep.
you and Rich didn't get together until college, right?
Right. Right.
Did you know each other in high school?
Um, he moved to Courtland in third grade. His
Okay.
grandparents and his mom grew up in Esben, so the other
Okay.
way down the highway. And they moved back from Colorado. And I'll never forget the day he walked into that third grade classroom, and I was like, oh, He's so cute. He was so cute. And we were boyfriend and girlfriend in third, fourth, and fifth grade. And
Oh,
his mom actually collected and saved some of the love notes I wrote him. Not even joking. I have them in my handwriting from
oh
fourth.
my gosh. Because then you went to school in Belleville. That's why I was wondering if you guys knew each
Then,
other. Okay.
then when
When
we
your parents divorced, right?
Yep, we moved down the highway, and even though Belleville's only, 10, 12 miles down the road, we were different classes in school. So we didn't compete against each other in sports or anything like that. And then off we went to college. And the summer before our fifth year of college, we both had to go home. We didn't need any more college classes or whatever it was. And we were home for that summer, and we ran back into each other, and the rest was history. So
Oh my gosh. I love that. So I'm sure Rich has told you the story about when he had to babysit for us.
I don't know if he has.
Oh God, I felt
If
so
he
bad for
has,
him.
I don't remember.
So I'm the only girl, okay? And I was around boys, all other than you guys. Like, I mean, I literally was like grew up with the dudes. And
Right.
so, um, Rich is a great guy. And they were like, we're just gonna get Rich to come over and babysit. I cried the whole time. I was so pissed. I was like, I don't want you at our house, Rich. I want a girl babysit.
Nice.
Oh my gosh. Well, we've talked a little bit about work ethic, and I think this is something I just put my Tuesday tip newsletter out, and I was talking about, what are my boys up to this summer? They're both working jobs, trying to make a buck.
Yeah.
And it's something that we've instilled in our kids since they were little of like, hey, if you want money, like you have to earn it. Like even an allowance is going to require you to do certain odd jobs around the house or whatever. And my boys have done everything from washing trash cans to selling lemonade. Ben worked at McDonald's last summer.
Yeah.
Jack's, trying to get this job at this donut shop going. He's training kids for Little League. They're always just like they've tried umpiring and working and whatever. But I think in a small town, I mean, you were talking like as a little kid, you were up early rising, and on a farm, you didn't get paid. Like it was just expected.
That's exactly right. I mean, the payment I got every summer was when we got to go to the pool for a couple hours, and when we were done, we got a piece of candy on the way out, right? Like
Oh,
you
out of
wanted
that deep
to,
freeze.
yeah, that was the big deal. But gosh, you talk about every job known to man. I mean,
What
we
was your first paid job?
oh gosh. Tried to make a list. I don't know if I remember a paying job anytime growing up until I rogued beans. And
What?
yeah.
You
Um,
did what?
it's called roguing beans. And basically you get up with the sun, so it's, not hot, and you go out and just walk the rows of beans with like a bucket, and you pull the weeds out of the rows. You pull the weeds.
So you're
Yeah.
just pulling weeds out of the bean fields.
hmm hmm It,
Soybeans?
I don't even know, Tara.
Had to have been soybeans.
It had to have been. I don't know. It was not fun. Number one, I
That
don't like
sucks.
mornings. Yeah, I don't like mornings. It was wet and muddy, so you had to wear like mud boots, so then your feet got hot. And
Do you know how much you got paid? Like,
oh, I don't. It wasn't much, I'm sure, you know.
yeah,
But I really don't remember a paying job because everybody pitched in, right? Like
yeah,
it was the
yeah.
work that needed to be done, so we all just did it. We would obviously I wasn't strong enough to throw the hay bales, but I was driving a tractor when I shouldn't have been, right? But that's what farm kids do. Um,
Right.
so I drive the tractor. I can't tell you how many irrigation pipes I set. Um, and for those of you that don't know what that is, the rows between like the crops, they run water into them, but you have to get the water from the irrigation ditch over and into the crop.
Right.
And
Oh
so
yeah.
the
The
pipes are
irrigation kids.
yep, so the
eh,
pipes are curved, and you had to like put the one end of the pipe down in the deep ditch and kind of get it going, and then you had to hurry up and get it over so then the water would flow into it. It was a
What's it
skill.
called? It's during irrigation. There's like a time where everyone's out irrigating. Isn't there a
Oh
name
yeah.
for it?
Yeah, I
I can't think of
I
the
don't
name of it.
remember. I don't remember, but I remember doing that. That was always a job.
Yeah, I shredded paper at the community bank. My dad had put me in the building behind the bank, which was a storage building that was probably full of mold and asbestos. And there was a shredder that was like an industrial sized shredder from like 1972
Yep.
that a child should not have been running. Did you ever go in there and shred paper?
I went in there, yes, but I don't know that I ever had to help shred
Ugh,
paper, but I know
it
what you're
was not a good job. I mean, I can't even believe they let us do it. I mean, it could have easily taken one of our hands down. It
oh,
was, it was
I
not a
mean,
good idea, but
yeah, looking back,
we
a
did
lot
it.
of things probably could have,
Yeah,
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 been good for us. But
totally.
that's just what you did. Everybody had to pitch in, so
Everybody had to pitch in. Everybody had to pitch in. Okay, here's something else that I really remember about growing up in a small town is that no one was too good for anything. Like, I feel like now, I mean, we both have our kids going to bigger schools. My boys go to a 5A school. What's your school?
4A.
4A. So, I mean, this is drastically bigger than
Yes.
how we grew up. And when I grew up, like, you would play on the basketball team, you would cheer, you would also play in the band, you could run track, and you could sing, you could have the lead in the High School Musical. Like, you could do it all. Where now kids have to make very big decisions early on. And the other thing that I remember is there weren't like the cool kids and the nerdy kids. Like, we were all friends.
Yeah, I would agree. I still think though that you kind of fit into a mold, whether you were a country kid or a city kid or a sports, like you were better at sports or,
Yeah,
I think everybody had kind of that umbrella of what they were known for, but it wasn't their identity. Do you know what I mean?
right.
Like you still did everything and everybody was friends and everybody participated together,
Yeah.
because I wasn't
And
the
like,
fastest, but I was still running. You know what I mean?
you weren't the fastest kid in your class. That
Oh,
was like the coolest title. I was not either. I was kind of fast. I wasn't the last one picked. I always felt so bad for
yeah.
the last kid picked for, in PE.
Yeah, yeah. I
Did
was
I think they did that even in the cities where they'd be like, okay, the captains today are this and this. And then you'd have to pick. I'd always pick, well, I usually would pick like two good kids to start because I'm
yeah,
competitive. But then
exactly.
I have a soft heart and I would always pick the kids who got picked last.
Yep, yep. I'm kind of there with you as well. But
That
I'm still
sucked that they
okay
made
though.
us do that.
Yeah, yeah, it kind of did. That's the competitive side of me, and I'm still a very firm believer in not everybody gets a ribbon.
Oh,
You
I
know?
am too. The stupid participation trophies. It's like, look, if you're not good at it, like find something you are good at. I think that's the biggest
Exactly.
problem with you know, kids today, especially in the city, is like they've created so many leagues of leagues of leagues. It's like what we call it, king of the dipshits is like, it's like find out what you're good at. But now, I mean, every kid's like on a traveling team. It's like, wait a
Right.
second.
Right. Well, and then that makes it hard to figure out what you are good at because you have to choose that path so young.
Yeah,
I mean, gosh, we did it. We literally did it all. We
we
played
did it all.
volleyball, yeah, volleyball, tennis, basketball. I didn't run track because I rodeoed, and that got me out of having to run. So I was totally okay with that. But we did. We
Right.
played in the band. I even sang in the choir. I never had a solo, and they probably didn't want to hear me really, really loud. But you had to participate because if you did,
Right.
there wasn't enough, right? Like
Yeah.
literally there wasn't enough. So you had to participate in all of it. And then I think, that grew your confidence and maybe you ended up being good at something that you might not have otherwise been good at.
Hey, it's Tara here, and I am so excited to let you know that the second edition of my book, Be Who You Came to Be, is officially on pre-sale. I originally self-published the book, and now a publishing house has picked up the book, and I'm so excited and so honored that this book will be available in bookstores across the country. However, you don't have to wait till it gets into the bookstore to get your copy. You can go to my website and sign up for your very own pre-sale book, which includes new secrets, new emotional intelligence takeaways to help you step into your authenticity and be exactly who it is that you came to be. Look, you don't need a self-help book to help you fix what's broken. You're not broken. You just need to become more of who you already are. It's why I poured my heart into this book, and I am so excited that a copy is waiting for you. Head over to my website now and get your copy.
But
I totally agree because what were you known for? I mean, you were the rodeo queen.
yep, I was the barrel. I was the little cat, the little horse girl. Yep,
The rodeo queen.
little horse
You know,
girl.
I've never rode a horse.
Are you kidding me?
No. I
What?
don't know why I've never rode a horse. I mean, I think like when we were little, like I would do the ones where there was like 3 or 4 horses going around a little stable, but like I have never full out rode a horse, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm really fucking scared to ride a horse.
Oh, you're getting on horse.
I think about you and your daughters and Kelly and your mom going full speed on these barrel racing
Yeah,
horses. I'm just like,
yeah, we
holy
just got
shit.
back.
I would be screaming my head. I would be, well, that's why I haven't rode one because they know if you are scared, right?
Well, yeah, they will sense it, but I'm getting you on a horse.
Your mom was like kissing a horse on your story the other day. I thought it was so cute.
Yeah, and she was running barrels. We were all together last week at a barrel race in Oklahoma, and it was my mom, my aunt, my sister, my cousin, yeah, my both my girls, my cousin's kids, my other cousin's kids. Like there was 14 of us that were
You
competing.
guys need like a show on like Lifetime or something
No,
where it's like, oh, could you imagine you guys? Well,
no,
you probably would get canceled. I'm not gonna lie, but
no.
I would be. Oh, it would be so fun. Your mom and her sister. Are you kidding?
Yeah,
The amount of laughing and knee slapping and just hilarious things
yeah,
that you
we
guys.
do laugh. We do laugh a lot. That's for sure. That's for sure. But you know, it's funny. You asked me, what I was known for, the horse girl. It was just a week or so ago. I don't know what even started the conversation, but my husband's having a conversation with my kids and asked him, "Well, what was mom like in grade school?" And I was like, "Oh gosh, what's he gonna say?" And he said, "Oh, she was the tomboy, but she always had her hair done perfectly and had ribbons or something pretty on." I was like,
You know what though? I feel like that's a lot of small town girls because I say that that's like one of the benefits of that I feel like I was given as a woman was that growing up in this small town, well, I was the first girl in 4 generations on my dad's side. So they were so damn excited to get a girl that they were like, here's your pink fluffy dress and your tiara and your dolls and all that. And they'd be like, get on your tiara, pick up your dolls. We're going to go fishing with Uncle Lanny. And literally, like, I would be out there with like a crown on,
"Mhm,
fishing, and then wearing my brother's t-shirt that said Travis, like holding
yeah,
up fish. Like, my dad, they would literally like make us kiss the bait before we put it on the hook.
it's good luck."
It's good luck, yes. And so, what this taught me, though, as a woman, was like I could show up unapologetically female in any situation. I could wear my crown and go fishing.
Yep,
But we also always got a seat at the table with the boys. Like, the girls were never
yeah.
like, oh, you're girls, you can't. Like, and our dads never treated us like that.
No, never once ever did I feel like that there was a differentiation between a boy and a girl. We all did everything together.
Yes, and like what you could accomplish or that the world was out to get you or like, you're going to be discriminated against because you're a girl or a woman. Like I honestly didn't even know about that until someone like once I probably got into the I once I got in the workforce and people are like, "Well, women are discriminated against." I'm like, "Really?"
Right.
Like,
Right.
I didn't know this. But that was a gift from a small town is I had no idea that women were discriminated against
Yep, yep. Well, we
because
were
we weren't
no,
discriminated against
we
there.
absolutely weren't, and we were just taught if you want something, you work harder than somebody else for it. It's
Yes.
simple.
Yes.
There's that's the bottom line right there. If you want something, you just work harder than somebody else. Period.
100%. Yep. Yep. And you show up and you provide the customer service and you do what it takes and you go beyond, above and beyond. And there were no like, oh, this is women's work and this is men's work. Like, I mean, I do think historically, right? I mean,
Right.
women were at home working in the house and the men were out farming, but not always. Like a lot of women were out there driving the trucks and, laying the irrigation pipes and
Yeah.
making the pies.
Yeah.
And let's face it, like my dad always was cooking. So was Lanny. Like
Oh, they
they were
were
always grilling up
they were
something.
great cooks. Yes.
Great cooks. Yeah.
They were great cooks. I do remember though being really little and during harvest season, riding in the grain trucks with my grandma, and that was her role as the woman. She would make the sandwiches and we'd pack the lunch and we'd have everything ready to go and then we'd go out to the field, and then everybody would eat and we would be in the truck that they would dump the crop into, and then we'd drive it into the feed store in town, and drop it off, and then we'd go back and man,
Yeah.
about getting your brains rattled out, right? In a feed truck from the 1970s.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny. It's so funny. Okay, we got a couple more things here that I want to cover is that I think that one time there's this notion that like, oh, you're from a small town, there's like what's the John Cougar Mellencamp song? It's like there's little opportunity, and I mean, obviously, for like Scott and I, what we both do, we couldn't do in a small town. I mean, I could virtually do my job, but I would have to drive 4 hours to get to an airport to fly to a gig. And he's in investments, and he was an engineer, and so there was an opportunity for that. But I never have felt like there's not opportunity there because I feel like there's so much support that if someone really wanted to do something, there would be a community to rally around them.
Oh, I completely agree. And Courtland's actually proof of that right now. I
Yeah.
mean, there's so many businesses that have started up from kids that are younger than us, that have went home and either continued a family business or
Mm-hmm.
started something new. And again, I think where there's a will, there's a way. And that's kind of what we were always taught. If you want to accomplish something, there's a way to figure it out,
Yeah.
and it doesn't matter if it's in a big city or if it's back in your small town, you know. Uh, I do think one thing that is probably a big benefit for kids like us growing up in small towns is we know how to network. We
Yeah.
know people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know if somebody came to me and asked me for help, like I said earlier, if there was a way I could support it, whatever that may be, I'm going to help out. And I think
Yeah.
because I know that, I'm not as I'm not as quick to shy away from asking other people for help, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
networking and who do you know, or I'm looking into this. Do you know somebody, in this area? Because 9 out of 10 times in all of our lines of businesses, somebody knows somebody who knows somebody.
Yeah. Well, and in small towns, people do know like it's very identified of what you're good at, right? I mean, there is literally everyone has the role. Like there is the banker, there's the farmers, there's the hairstylist, there's the plumbers, there's the people who fix the cars. Like they're
Right.
literally everyone knows what they're good at and strengths are celebrated and they're like the go-to person. It was like well, I'm not going to try to fix this car. You need to drive it up to Hordes and
Yeah,
have Norm look at it. And,
exactly.
you'd be like, figure out what to do. Like there was someone to do something.
Yep.
Everyone had like their where they shined.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So cause you grew up, so you lived in Courtland, went to Belleville, went to Kansas State, K-State, and then you moved. Where did you and Rich move originally? Did you stay in Lawrence or?
Mhm. Yep.
Okay.
I graduated from K-State and I moved to Lawrence and I cried the entire drive because I couldn't believe I was going to go live in the town where that dirty bird lived.
Okay. By the way, if you guys don't know, KU K-State are huge rivals. It's a huge, it's a state rivalry.
Huge.
Kansas State and University of Kansas. I went to the KU
Mhm.
and Kasey here went to K-State. Although I feel like most of the people from Courtland went to K-State.
Right.
Like I was
Yep.
one of the oddballs. Rich went to KU
Yep.
and then but
Did.
now guess who's a huge Jayhawk fan?
Yeah, I did have to concede to that. I absolutely did. So I cried when I drove from Manhattan to Lawrence to move there that summer because Rich was still getting his master's degree. 3 years later, we left Lawrence and we moved to the Wichita area for our kind of first big girl and big boy jobs. I cried harder when I left. I did. I fell in love with it. It's just a great area, a great town. And we said at that point, we were married, and we said someday, if and when we have kids, we want to come back to this area. Not necessarily in Lawrence, but somewhere in the country close to, bigger towns,
Yeah.
so we
Yeah.
can get to Kansas City or we can get to Lawrence or wherever.
Mhm.
And
But
we
your
did.
mom, she stayed in Belleville.
Yes, mom stayed
And Rich's family stayed in
in
Courtland.
Portland. Yep, they're still there.
Mhm. Mhm.
But all of our siblings, other than Brock, all of our siblings moved not too far away, but moved away from Courtland.
Right. Right.
And Richard's oldest sister, she lives over by Cuba, so she's still close to Courtland. But other than that, Brock and Joanne, the rest of us kind of all moved this way.
Yeah. Well, Travis, my oldest brother, he's a music educator outside of Wichita. Tanner lives in Courtland.
Yep.
By the way, did you know that? So the day of my dad's funeral, Jack was like 5 years old, and he was playing with some kids in the basement, and like literally split his nose wide open on the on a shelf. And they were like, "Hey, you got to come down and get, Jack's." This was at like, I'm not kidding you, like 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock at night or something. It was after the funeral, and anyway, he had blood all over. And Brock was like, "Oh, I'll just take him out to the clinic and sew him up." And I was like,
Yeah.
no, I think I'm gonna pass on that, Brock. He's like, "Well, you're gonna have to go to Belleville, which is 20 minutes. You're gonna have to call up there because they're gonna have someone come in to the county hospital."
Yeah.
But Brock, the vet, was gonna, and Tanner's like, "Oh yeah, he can sew him up." I was like, "No," and Kathy, my sister-in-law, was like, "Don't, no, like just go to the hospital." So we called the hospital, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we'll get someone in there." They were like, "Just come around to the back of the hospital." Like we came around to the back of the hospital. They let us in through like an emergency exit. We're like flipping lights on to sew up sweet little Jack's face. I
I
think he
love
got like 10 stitches in his nose. It was a huge
Oh,
gash.
it was a huge gash.
And they actually did a pretty good job. Real tight stitching. So,
Good. Well, I
yeah.
remember growing up, you know, that was our medical attention, right? Was the clinic. I mean, we did never get stitched up, but really funny story about K-State. When I left, my stepmom packed me like a little first aid kit, right? A little first aid bag. Every kid needs that in their dorm, right? And we were only there a few weeks, and one of the girls that I had just made friends with cut her leg shaving. And she was looking in her stuff. She couldn't find any Neosporin because she was going to put a Neosporin and a Band-Aid on it. I said, "Oh, I have some." So I ran down to my room and I grabbed it, and I came back and I handed it to her. And her reaction, she was like, "Oh, I'm not putting that on my leg. I give that to my cat." And I'm like, "What?" "Well, it's called Panalog, and it's like Neosporin, but it's the version for a cat or a dog."
Oh
And
my
Tara, it was the
gosh.
first time in 18 years of life that I realized that not everybody did that.
Yeah. Not everyone sewed up their kids at the vet clinic.
Nope,
Oh
nope,
my
not
God, that's so
not
funny. I
realistic.
remember my dad,
Yeah.
my mom would take us to the pediatrics office, but dad would just go out to Uncle Lanny and get
Yeah,
whatever medicine he'd need.
yeah.
And that's so funny. That's so
Love
funny.
it.
So we obviously still go home. So many amazing things instilled in us. And I think what's interesting is, we have left the small town and gone on. You worked in education for the longest time, and then you became an entrepreneur. I'm sure you guys, I don't know if you've put all these pieces together on the puzzle yet, but this is Kasey from My Ultimate Edge, we've been featuring her products on the podcast, her clear protein, which I'm totally obsessed with. But you landed on a company called Xyngular, like right when it first started. And you've created an incredible life for yourself where you have like all the freedom and flexibility of the world that you could do this from Courtland, Kansas.
Absolutely. I do it from the horse trailer. I do it from my kitchen table. I do it from the front porch, everywhere. I've been very blessed. But, I know I was put on the earth by the good Lord to be a teacher. You know how you
Hmm.
just know. I know that was my calling, and I did that for 20 years, and it was the best 20 years ever. But in the middle of all of that, having babies and going on my own health journey, and all the fun things that come with aging, and trying
Yes.
to stay healthy and feel young, and all the things, Xyngular was put into my lap, and I really didn't have any intention of building a big business with it. The products
Right.
just made me feel great. And I was like, "Oh, I don't want to stop using them."
Yeah.
And I think this kind of goes back to small town. When you find something you really like, you love, it works, whatever it is, we always told people about it, right?
Right.
Like that's just what you
No
did.
gatekeeping.
No gatekeeping. There was no Google. There was no Chat GPT. It was us. Like we had to go to Norm at the auto body shop, or Mike at the bank, or you went to the experts, and
Right.
everybody shared whatever they knew. And so as soon as I knew how good Xyngular was, I was telling the world. And what a blessing it ended up being, because it allowed me to retire and stay at home with all of my kiddos. At the time I started Xyngular, I had just had Creighton, and my last three babies were 18 and 20 months apart.
Oh my
And
gosh.
so, yeah, so there was no going back to teaching because I'd have been, giving my entire paycheck to a daycare provider.
Right.
And so I
Right.
was
Because
doing
what ages are your kids now?
oh gosh, 24, 20, 18, and 16.
Oh my gosh. So
So
you're
I've
almost
been
an
at,
empty nester.
yeah, well, it's getting close. It's getting close. But yeah, Xyngular was just put into my lap and it turned out to be one of the
Well, it wasn't just put into your lap. You stumbled on it, but then you've worked your ass off. Like this is not like I think so many times people think that any sort of a affiliate or network marketing is like, oh, it's a get rich quick. Like it's not. Like the people who are successful in it have worked their asses off. They've built a strong business. They have, it's a lot of education. It's a lot of resilience. And it's just like any other business. I tell people this all the time because I worked in direct selling for a while. I speak a ton in the direct selling space now. And it is such a common misconception that it's like, oh, that's a pyramid scheme. Like, that's such bullshit. Like, when I ran sales offices across the country, the same structure, right? Like I was in charge of finding people to come work in the offices and they were rewarded off of how well they sold and I was rewarded as the leader on
yes,
how well my team did. Like we had quotas every month that we were supposed to hit and that was based on, who was I hiring and bringing in.
right.
And so it's very, very similar, but you've had amazing success.
Well, thank you. And it is a legitimate business model, and I think that was
Yeah.
one of my misconceptions in the beginning. I thought, oh, well, I'll just do this while it's good. And then the more I learned and understood the business model and how it worked, I was like, okay, this is legit. And so,
Yeah. And you were able to
thank
build your
goodness.
dream house
Yes, our dream house, I've
out in the
hauled
middle of the country.
yeah, out in the middle of the country. I'm looking at the pond right there. So yeah, 20 acres and it's been wonderful. And then you add all the things on top of that, trying to give four kids, life experiences and competitive basketball and rodeo and now we're into football and all the boys things. Um, and then college, holy camole.
Yeah,
That's not
I
cheap
know.
either.
No,
So,
it's
so,
not.
so yeah, it's been a huge blessing. But you're right. I think the misconception is that people just get lucky, and
Yeah,
maybe that's
no,
how they,
yeah.
they make money in network marketing. But I've said this for years. It's called network marketing for a reason.
Yes,
You
yes,
can do it from
yes.
anywhere. You can do it from
And how
anywhere, and
long
it's
have you been doing it? 10
work.
years?
Oh gosh, no. I started when Creighton was one, so 15.
Oh, 15. Gosh, because
Mhm.
I remember trying their products early on, but it was really just, gosh, I don't know, in the last like what, 8 years that I really, started using a lot of your different products. And I do have to tell you that the clear protein with the collagen, I mix them together. It's so game changing for 30 grams of protein. I actually squeeze a lemon in it too. It's so good. It's like
Well,
a summer drink. I do the lemonade with the pina colada um, collagen and a squeeze of lemon. Oh my God, it's delicious.
wait till you get the watermelon collagen.
Oh, I know. I can't wait.
It's
I can't wait.
so
Well,
so good.
I was so just so you know, I got to speak at one of the big Xyngular conferences, which was such a fun experience. You guys do two big events a year, right? Like an
We've
East and a
actually
West.
we've actually switched it up. We're doing one in person and one virtual now.
Oh, okay. Okay.
We've
Okay.
kind of had a big switch since you spoke at Xyngular. We've got a new president and our product development manager's back that we absolutely love. We have a new chief marketing officer. They're wonderful, and a lot of pivots are happening in
Yeah.
Xyngular. But that's why I love this company, and I think that's why it has been sustained for the 15 years, and I don't see it ever going away, is because the company and the corporate offices listen to the
Right.
need, right?
Right.
And they back everything with science. And so
Yeah.
it's scientifically proven, naturally sourced products. And then you couple that with all of the healthy systems that we put in place. And I don't know if you know this yet, but it has officially been trademarked Xyngular, the biohacking company.
Oh, cool.
Yes, and it's the only company out there that can officially say that they're a biohacking company. But when that happened, we were all like, okay, well, what's that mean? And that could be a whole nother podcast on
Right.
what is biohacking. But it's basically just a cheat code or a shortcut to help your body be healthier. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, biohacking, you can hack anything, but our field is biohacking and helping people just do the little things. Your comment just a minute ago about putting lemon in your drink,
Mm-hmm.
that's a uh,
Right.
biohacking,
So
thing
good. They say you should drink lemon every morning, right when you wake up.
like when you wake up.
Well, so if you're out there, you struggle to lose weight, you're having sleep issues, like any of that, you guys just trust me, do reach out to Kasey. She's been doing this for so long. I have used her products and I had to tell you, I speak at a lot of companies. I was really impressed with just overall Xyngular, the people there, the quality of professionals, and the products they are really, really good. So,
Yeah. Well, and our the owner of our company, he has said many times in these last couple years, those of you who know the network marketing space know that there's a lot of companies that have changed their business models, and
mm,
maybe they don't do distributors anymore. They're just going straight to affiliate marketing, and it's caused a lot of turmoil in a lot of people's
yeah,
lives.
anxiety. Yeah.
A lot,
Hmm.
a lot of turmoil, a lot of anxiety. People lost their incomes. It was kind of a scary place for a while. And I still think there are companies out there that are still struggling. But our president has said over and over and over, that is not us. We are in this for the distributors. We are in this, for our distributors to help people, and
Right.
that's the
Right.
model we are.
Well, and he's an old school, been in the business forever. A lot of these companies that have done that, they've gotten new management or they're newer to the business and it's an easy way to cut corner and go affiliate model instantly.
Right.
So,
Right. No.
anyway, this is a lot for people who don't understand the industry. But if you're curious at all, just message Kasey. And in the meantime, I've been sharing the products, the commercial. I'm not making this shit up. Like this protein powder is so good. It's clear. So it's not that like, I mean, I struggle with my protein goals because I try to get at least 100, ideally 150, which
Right.
is very hard for me to get.
So hard.
But the third extra 30 a day just from this, that's not the chalky, milky, gag me, I can't drink another protein shake in my life. Like this is good. It's refreshing and good. I'm going to go make one after we get off
Yeah,
here
absolutely.
recording.
I have one every morning. That's when I get up. You're supposed to start your morning with protein, and I'm not a huge breakfast eater, but I mix those two together, and you start your day with 30 grams of protein, and then sometime during the day, I'll usually drink another one. So
Yeah.
when you're trying to reach your 100, grams or 150, and you're going to drink 60 of it, that
Yeah.
makes that goal a lot more achievable. For
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay, before we go, I've got one more fun small town question.
Oh dear.
So, everyone is kind of known, like famous to this day for something. Do you think you're still the rodeo queen, or is there something else about you, Kasey Honiel Frost?
In my heart, I will always be the rodeo queen.
Do you have rodeo crowns?
No, I actually never was a rodeo queen. I did not ever run to be a rodeo queen because this will be something you might not have known about me, but I never wanted to have a judge it and say, "Oh, I liked this," or "I didn't like this," right? That always upset me. I did not like being compared like that. But one thing I knew that was hands down, no questions asked, it was either you ran faster or I ran faster when you put up that timer and we ran barrels, right?
Right.
Like you cannot argue that. So I would show my horse and I would do those events at the county fair every year in Belleville. But I never loved it. My passion was speed. Let's go
She
fast.
felt the need for speed. So we shouldn't call you the rodeo queen. We should call you the barrel racing queen.
There you go. There you
Yes,
go. I'll take
yes.
that one. I'll
I
take that.
think I mean, well, just as a performer, all the Johnsons, we always were singing and
Yes.
performing and musicians or whatever. But, after I got on the game show, it's literally was like my claim to fame when I won on the game show. And I
Yes.
came home that summer for Courtland Fun Day, which by the way, that's a whole nother episode right there. Courtland Fun Day, like
Exactly.
we telling stories from Courtland Fun Day. Courtland Fun Day is a small town festival. It's like one of the best days of your life if you can get there.
Last Saturday of every July,
July.
you need to be in Courtland, Kansas.
Yes, yes. And I was like a celebrity when I
Yeah.
came home after that. People thought like I was a big deal. I was like, I mean, I was on a national game show, but my heart's still in Courtland.
And I did win, so
I did win. That's so funny.
it was awesome.
What was your favorite? So they had the Courtland Fun Day has all these like competitions. Grease Pig. Did you do Grease Pig?
I did when I was little, but I didn't love it.
I don't like it's
I did not.
they put shaving cream on the pig and someone has to get into a gunny sack. It does seem kind of inhumane. I don't
Well,
think the pig minds.
I don't think the pig minds. Yes, I was a country girl, but it was gross. Like the shaving cream, and then the pig's skin is oily, and I had to take care of pigs, if you remember. And it wasn't my favorite.
Yeah.
I was like, I am
Egg
not
toss.
going.
The egg toss.
I loved the egg toss, but my very favorite was the belly slide.
Oh, the belly slide. Yeah. The egg toss, people are like, you guys actually threw eggs at each other. I'm like, well, you were supposed to catch it, but sure enough, someone would get one broken on their head. Like,
Yeah.
and the city kids would never do that. So if
Um,
your egg broke, people would probably like have to have
right.
therapy for it.
There's actually a really, really fun picture of my mom and your mom, and it's a black and white. I don't know if you've ever seen it. And it was my mom had the egg like in her hand, and she had like a bandana on, and it was all broke, and it was running down her arms, and
Oh,
your mom was kind of like laughing behind her. It's one of the greatest pictures ever. But it was
oh,
them.
because they were egg tossing and your mom broke the egg. Oh,
Yes, or
that's
I must
hilarious.
have been Carrie. Your mom must have thrown it, and it broke all over her, and then they got the picture. So,
Oh my
my
gosh. Oh
favorite
my gosh.
Portland Fun Day event now is Chicken Poop Bingo.
Oh yeah, chicken poop bingo, where they put the chicken in and wait for it to poop, and every time it poops, you get
Yeah, if
a
you pick
bing. You
that one. Yeah.
only in a small town. That is a funny one. Did you swim in irrigation canals? We talked a lot about irrigation. Did you go?
Um,
We used to swim in them. Not a great idea.
not a great idea, no. And in fact, my children now, when they go back, they've jumped off of the bridge and into the canal, and they think that's great. And now they're trying to convince us that it would be a good idea to water ski down it.
Oh well, they
I'm
did that.
I know. I'm like, no, I don't think that would be good. And so now they're thinking they could get a big, like a stock tank. You know how they can float them down the
Yeah.
river.
Uh
Yeah,
huh.
they think that it might be fun to try a stock tank and see if
Oh,
they float
that'd be
down.
fun. We used to go get the tractor tires filled up
Mhm.
and take them, throw them in the back of someone's truck, put a cooler down in the tractor tire, throw that into the irrigation. But we tied them all up because the currents were strong.
Oh,
Not to
they
mention
are.
the fact that we were getting poisoned.
Well, and we should probably put that disclaimer is that we do not condone
Yes.
swimming in
Not,
the
and I just said it's not a great
irrigation.
idea. Not a great idea.
Not
It
a
sure
great
was
idea.
hell of a good time.
Yeah,
We survived. We
we did.
survived.
We did survive.
Well, everyone, just so you know, you can contact Casey. What's the best way for people to contact you?
Um, I think yes,
myultimateedge.com?
yes, myultimateedge.com, just like you share in the ad. I think my phone number is on there. They can text me, they can shoot me a quick message, they can call me. You can always email me. It's on there too. But I will say this one new thing that Xyngular has actually added, and it's been a game changer, is a health quiz. So
Oh.
if you are curious, about making a plan for yourself, you're having issues with your stomach, or you're looking for energy, or you want to lose weight, whatever it is, it's like a 30-second, 1-minute quiz, and you just click the boxes, and it'll spit it right back to you and give you the recommendations of what products we have that will help you. And then we have, meal plans and shopping lists and all kinds of things to go along with it to support it.
I'm
So
looking at my phone because I did go to take the quiz, but I was checking every box.
you
I was like, I actually need help with all of this shit. Like, I was like, I think I'm just, they're going to be like, just go to the Go Ham on the online store because you need everything.
you just need one of everything. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But it really does. It takes the thinking out of it. It's so easy, and it kind of gives you a little bit of guidance on where to start, because,
yeah.
we have products that help with weight management, with gut health, with energy and performance, with moods and hormones, and just foundational health. So it's not a lot of products, but if you aren't familiar with them, if you go and start looking around, you're like, oh, geez, where do I start?
Pick your number one concern first versus being like, I need help with weight loss, hormone
Yes,
support,
yes,
sleep, you
yes.
name it.
I
Hook
need
me
it
up.
all. I need it all.
That's so funny. All
But
right. Well, everyone, get a hold of Casey. Casey, thank you so much. This was such a fun little walk down memory lane with me, reminiscing, that, just because we're from small towns doesn't mean that our dreams are small, or that people from small towns are uneducated or don't know what's going on in real life. And I challenge the listeners, if you can get yourself to a small town, you will be surprised, I think, first off, how amazing all the people are there, how inclusive they are, how
right.
loving they are. And it's just, whether you're from a town of 300 or 3 million, just remembering where you came from, who you are, and who you came to be. So, Kasey, thanks so much for being on the show today.
You're welcome. Love you.
Love you too. Bye bye.